We all picked up Think and Grow Rich to build wealth, to change our life, to finally unlock what's been holding us back. But Napoleon Hill wasn't just talking about money and wealth. He was talking about something deeper, something invisible, something lethal if you don't have it. Starts with the F. It's not religion, not superstition, but it's a mindset so powerful that the world bends to match it. This 5-letter word is faith. Let me say this clearly. Without faith, you can grind 24/7. You can chase every opportunity. You can read every book, watch every video, and still fail. Because faith is the engine. It's the force behind every dream that becomes real. No faith equals no results. No belief equals no action. No inner conviction equals no outer success. This isn't positive thinking. This is survival. This is power. This is Think and Grow Rich, the real version. And if you don't learn to build unshakable faith, your dream dies before it even has a chance. Let's fix that right now. Every empire, every fortune, every transformation you admire, it all started the same way, with belief. Not money, not followers, not strategy, faith. The Wright brothers, no degrees, no funding, just faith in flight. Steve Jobs, no guarantee, no fallback plan, just faith and vision. And Napoleon Hill, he didn't just write about wealth, he wrote about the mindset that creates it. And he said it best, faith is the head chemist of the mind. In other words, your mind shapes your beliefs shape your behavior, and your behavior shapes your results. And faith is the spark that turns ideas into action. It's the fire that pushes you forward when everything says stop. Without faith, your thoughts are empty. You have no muscle, no drive, no power. They die before they take off. And you felt it, haven't you? You've had a dream, a real one, a vision that made your heart race. But then doubt crept in and it whispered, I don't know if I'm ready. What if I fail? I'm not sure I have what it takes. And just like that, boom, the dream died. Not because it was impossible, but because you didn't believe it was possible. You see, most men are waiting for permission, waiting for proof, waiting for the perfect moment. But faith doesn't wait. Faith moves without proof. Faith acts before the path is clear. Faith says, I don't see it yet, but I'm walking like it's already mine. That's the difference between the man who talks and the man who builds. Because faith isn't something you find. Faith is something you build. And the way you build it is by moving before you're ready. By showing up even when no one claps. By grinding even when the vision is blurry. By deciding I am the one before anyone else believes it. Faith grows through motion. Faith grows through repetition. Faith grows through persistence when everything around you screams quit. That's why most people stay stuck. They're waiting for certainty. They're waiting to feel confident. But confidence is a reward, not a requirement. It shows up after the work, after the risk, after the faith. So here's the truth no one told you. The dream isn't dead. You just stopped feeding it. The fire's not gone. You just forgot how to light it. So today, start with one decision. I will move, even if I'm scared. Even if I'm unsure, even if I fail. Because the engine behind every dream isn't money, isn't talent, isn't timing, it's faith. Build that and the rest will follow. Let's flip the script, because here's the twist nobody talks about. Faith is always active. It's not something you get later. It's something you're using right now. The only question is, where's your faith pointed? When you say, I'll never make it, I'm not built for this, I'm always messing up. That's not self-awareness. That's not realism. That's not honesty. That's faith in failure. You're not doubting, you're believing, just in the worst case scenario. You can lie to yourself, but you're not gonna lie to me. Because I know you've practiced it over and over until it became automatic, until you didn't even question it. You thought it was just you. So what happens? You move like it, you shrink, you hesitate, you self-sabotage, you pull back at the finish line. And life reflects that belief right back at you, because your mind is always obeying the dominant belief, always following the script you feed it. So let me ask you, what if you just change the script? What if instead of faith in your downfall, you place faith in your becoming? What if you actually believe that you're being shaped right now for something massive? That every obstacle is training, not punishment. Woo, that's powerful. Let me say that again. That every obstacle is training, not punishment. That you're capable of far more than anything currently you see. How would you walk? How would you speak? How would you attack your day if you knew for a fact that this pain is a part of my process? This delay is building my patience, not blocking my path. This failure isn't the end, it's the furnace of my future. Listen, faith isn't a feeling, it's a decision. You choose it, you stand on it, you fight to keep it alive, even when it looks dumb, even when no one claps, even when the progress is invisible. Because here's what the haters and the critics won't tell you. Faith feels ridiculous right before it becomes real. Think about that. When you speak confidently before you win, people think you're crazy. When you act like a king while you're still broke, they call it delusion. But later, when the vision manifests, suddenly you're a genius. Oh wow, he's a genius. Suddenly it all makes sense. Then they start deriding. But here's the irony. Faith only looks smart in hindsight, but it only works in the present. So don't wait for the crowd. Don't wait for confirmation. Don't wait for the right time. Choose the new belief now. And that's not some empty motivation BS. It's brain science. It's psychology. It's spiritual law. Your thoughts shape your reality, but it's your faith that gives those thoughts power. So if you're gonna believe something, you better not believe in your downfall. You better not believe in disqualification. You better not believe in your old identity. Believe in your becoming. Believe in your rise. Believe in the version of you who's already on the way, because you already have faith. Now it's time to point it in the right direction. Let's talk about something rarer than talent. Something more dangerous than rage. Something more magnetic than charm. Conviction. Conviction is power. Conviction is clarity. Conviction is the man who doesn't flinch even when the world laughs at his face. And you know why? Because conviction doesn't come from results. It comes from faith. Faith gives birth to conviction. Conviction gives birth to action. And action, consistent, bold, belief-driven action, rewrites reality. Here's the truth. Most men are curious, not convicted. They're interested in success, not committed. They want proof before they move. They want guarantees before they grind. But the men who build legacies, the men who bend the world, the men who move without applause, the men who build without permission, they speak the future before it arrives. That's conviction. That's what separates someday talkers from right now doers. And that's what Napoleon Hill had. Do you know his story? He spent 25 years interviewing the greatest minds of his generation. Ford, Edison, Carnegie, Rockefeller. He sat at their tables, took notes on their habits, absorbed their wisdom. But for years, no book, no audience, no money, no proof that it was working. Most would have quit. Most would have said, this is a waste. It's not paying off. Nobody cares. But Hill didn't stop because he wasn't moving off hype, he was moving off conviction. He knew the vision wasn't a fantasy, it was a preview. And that's the secret most people miss. Faith creates the future because it lets you act like it already exists. Rewind this statement and listen twice. When you believe it's already yours, you stop playing small. You stop second guessing. You stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And you start asking, what needs to happen next? Conviction turns your goals into standards. It turns your desire into non-negotiables. It turns your hope into strategy. You don't wish for it. You work like it's already done. And when your actions match your belief, you become dangerous because now the outside doesn't control the inside. You're not waiting for validation. You're not swayed by opinions. You've already decided. That's the mindset of the elite, the mindset of the bosses. That's how winners think. That's how wealth is truly built internally before it ever shows up in your bank account. Let me ask you, what would you start today if you had unshakable faith it will work? How would you walk if you knew your breakthrough was around the corner? What would you change if you actually believed the universe was responding to your intentions? Because it is. And if you don't believe that, you've been brainwashed by the wrong system. We got to get you together. So go ahead and subscribe to this page right now so we can get you together. See, the system teaches you to wait. Teaches you to play it safe, to be realistic. But greatness was never realistic. Conviction isn't logical, it's spiritual. It's the quiet voice that says, I was born for this. This storm will not break me. I'm building something that doesn't exist yet. And when you speak like that, you move like that. You live like that. You stop being the man who reacts and become a man who creates. That's the invisible power of conviction. You can't see it, but the world can feel it. And soon they'll see the results. Because when faith becomes movement, the future becomes inevitable. Every time you settle for less, every time you talk yourself down, every time you choose comfort over calling, you're not just playing it safe, you're shrinking your future. You're not avoiding risk, you're avoiding the man you were born to be. Let's be real, fear is loud, so loud that you can't think, you can't move. But so is faith. If you feed it, you've been told to be humble, to stay realistic, to play it safe. But the truth is, you're not here to fit in, you're here to wake up. Wake up your mind, wake up your faith, wake up your fire. You weren't made to survive. You were made to create vision, create momentum, create belief so deep it's unshakable. That's when the world starts to bend around it. And that starts with what you say. Say it with your chest. I will act boldly before I'm ready. Say it with your chest. I will believe before I see. Say it with your chest. I will persist when others quit. Say it with your chest. I will think like the man I'm becoming. Let those words hit like Javante Davis. Let them echo inside you like a dark tunnel. Let them bury the doubt you've been dragging around for years. Because here's the simple truth. Thoughts are things, but faith is the force that brings them to life. A thought is a seed, but faith is the water, the sunlight, the grind it needs to grow. Without it, the seed rots. With it, the seed rises. So if you keep thinking small, you keep living small. You'll keep hoping instead of building. You'll keep waiting instead of winning. But today, that ends, bruh. No more shrinking. No more second guessing. No more trying to play it cool when your heart is screaming for more. Because here's what faith really looks like. It looks like showing up when you're tired. It looks like choosing discipline over dopamine. It looks like betting on yourself. It looks like betting on yourself when no one else will. It looks like taking the leap before the net appears. And the crazy part, that's when the net does appear. That's when doors open. That's when momentum finds you. But it only happens after you commit. So stop thinking like a slave to your circumstances. Start thinking like a builder of your destiny. because that's what you are. A builder, a creator, a commander of your mind. Not a victim, not a follower, not a mistake. Say this out loud. I am no longer asking for permission. I am no longer waiting for proof. I am no longer thinking small. From this day forward, I think in faith. I move in belief. I live like it's already mine, because it is. You were never meant to crawl. You were meant to rise. And the thing that lifts you isn't luck, it's faith. Think and Grow Rich wasn't just about wealth and money. It was about inner power. It was about belief before evidence. It was about the one idea that changes everything. Faith. And now it's your turn. Believe so boldly it scares you. Act so consistently it inspires others. And think so intentionally you become the man others only dream about. Because the man who thinks in faith grows rich in every way. If you want to know the importance of thoughts, watch this video on the screen.